All right, so here is the Time magazine. This is it. All right, check this out. It's straight up. They're straight up blatant about this. Look at the name of it. The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election. I mean, that's the title.
How is this the world we live in?
Yeah. What? This is the title. The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign. What shadow campaign? You mean I was right all these months? There was.
Why is that the longest title in the world as well? Are we not focusing on the fact that the title alone is a TLDR?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very much like that could be at the end.
Well, I mean, this article itself, I can't sit here and read this whole thing for you guys. Just to give you a little insight, like, it is rather long. Like,
It's girthy.
It's okay.
It's girthy.
We'll go with that. It's a girthy article. Okay. All right. So, but man, it goes deep. It's got all this different information about what they had to do to make sure that the election was fortified. And that's the term that they went with. Fortified. They had to fortify the election. All right. So, as I said, I haven't read this. All right. I've seen clips and things of pieces of it that I thought weren't true. Right. I thought it was too far-fetched for the Time magazine. Time magazine isn't, I want to use the word right-wing, because those tend to be the production, the people that were talking about the fraud or the manipulation of the shadow banning of different information to control the narrative. And then it was like Time magazine comes out and drops this freaking bombshell, which is admitting to them literally doing that.
But it's going along with all of this role that is just being pushed over and over again of like, we are the champions. That's the real issue. That's the real problem. Let's focus on that. And it's what's happening? The mustache brought in there we go. Now we're good.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, man.
I just noticed the UFO wasn't spinning enough for me.
It was
for my
a
taste.
Rant. Yeah.
And yeah, I wasn't trying to cut you off, but you're absolutely right, though.
I feel you.
Yeah. So let's get into this. I'm just going to as I said, this is fresh for me. I haven't read this yet. I've only seen tidbits of it. So let's go for it. We're going to do this together. A weird thing happened right after November 3rd election. Nothing. What a great start. The nation was braced for chaos. Liberal groups had vowed to take to the streets, planning hundreds of protests across the country. White right-wing militias were girded for battle. In a poll before Election Day, 75% of Americans voiced concern about violence. Instead, an eerie quiet descended. As President Trump refused to concede, the response was not mass action, but crickets. When media organizations called the race for Joe Biden on November 7th, jubilation broke out instead as people thronged cities across the U.S. to celebrate the democratic process that resulted in Trump's ouster, which none of the coronavirus people complained about, mind you. I thought that was kind of funny.
Is this how history is written now?
Yeah.
Like, is this how you push forward what you want people to remember? You just make sure that everyone is reporting on your angle so that later when it's all crumbled, the only thing that's left is your agenda that you pushed out there?
Yes.
Because this is the most erroneous
Yes. Yeah, that's literally what is going on. Entire news media. And in fact, I'm pretty sure they talk about this. Let's continue through it. A second odd thing happened amid Trump's attempts to reverse the result. Corporate America turned on him. Hundreds of major business leaders, many of whom had backed Trump's candidacy and supported his policies, called on him to concede. To the president, something felt amiss. It was all very, very strange, Trump said on December 2nd. Within days after the election, we witnessed an orchestrated effort to anoint the winner, even while many key states were still being counted. And in a way, Trump was right. Wow, Time magazine. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. The pact was formalized in a terse, little-noticed joint statement of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and AFL-CIO published on Election Day. Both sides would come to see it as a sort of implicit bargain inspired by the summer's massive, sometimes destructive, racial justice protests, in which the forces of labor came together with the forces of capital to keep the peace and oppose Trump's assault on democracy. This is what I've been saying. They were justified in cheating because they truly believed he was evil. I've been saying this for months now, that they feel like it's they're justified, like it's virtuous to do all this to fortify the election. That's why they're saying it as a fortification. I haven't gotten there yet, but this is what is going viral, the little clip of it, and we're almost there. You want to add?
No.
Okay. All right, let's get back into it. The handshake between business and labor was just one component of a vast cross-partisan campaign to protect the election, an extraordinary shadow effort dedicated not to winning the vote, but to ensuring it would be free and fair, credible, and uncorrupted. Well, that seems a little backwards, doesn't it? For more than a year, a loosely organized coalition of operatives scrambled to shore up America's institutions as they came under simultaneous attack from a remorseless pandemic and an autocratically inclined president. Though much of this activity took place on the left, it was separate from the Biden campaign and crossed ideological lines, with crucial contributions by nonpartisan and conservative actors. The scenario the shadow campaigners were desperate to stop was not a Trump victory. It was an election so calamitous that no result could be discerned at all, a failure of the central act of democratic self-governance that had been a hallmark of America since its founding. Wait a minute, hold on.
So then why are they okay saying it was Biden?
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all right. But all I can think of is like, I remember the Supreme Court, it came out that they were not wanting to rule on anything because for fear of things getting worse, for fear of civil war, for fear of like people getting up in a tizzy, instead of like actually looking at the evidence and ruling on the evidence, which, mind you, still none of Trump's lawsuits got to the point of presenting the evidence that they had. So they got to judges. That's all I could think. All the way up to the Supreme Court. At least the Pennsylvania Supreme Court that denied it. I think in Arizona and Texas also there was some stuff that was going on, but my goodness. Here we go again. Their work touched every aspect of the election. They got states to change voting systems and laws and helped secure hundreds of millions in public and private funding. They fended off voter suppression lawsuits, recruited armies of poll workers, and got millions of people to vote by mail for the first time. They successfully pressured social media companies to take a harder line against disinformation and used data-driven strategies to fight viral smears. They executed national public awareness campaigns that helped Americans understand how the vote count would unfold over days or weeks, preventing Trump's conspiracy theories and false claims of victory from getting more traction. Even after Election Day, they monitored every pressure point to ensure that Trump could not overturn the result. The untold story of the election is the thousands of people of both parties who accomplished the triumph of American democracy at its foundation, says Norm Eisen, a prominent lawyer and former Obama administration official who recruited Republicans and Democrats to the board of the Voter Protection Program. Goodness sakes. For Trump and his allies were running their own campaign to spoil the election, the president spent months insisting that mail ballots were a Democratic plot and election would be rigged. His henchmen at the there's the Time magazine I know. His henchmen at the state level sought to block their use, while his lawyers brought dozens of spurious suits to make it more difficult to vote. An intensification of the GOP's legacy of suppressive tactics. laying it on thick. Time magazine, my goodness. I have to stop for a second because this is such BS. Because I watched them kick out the GOP, poll watchers that were supposed to be there to make sure that it was fair. I watched the videos of the Democratic people running the ballots over and over and over again in late night GOP. Gateway Pundit. Actually, I'm going to jump over to this real quick.
Facts.
I have it right here. They have the late night video showing the late night deliveries of thousands of ballots illegally popping in 8 hours after the deadline. The deadline was supposed to be and was proven in court that it was supposed to be 8 p.m. election night. Period. If they weren't there by election night, 8 p.m., they didn't count. And they brought in all of these ballots.
Everyone gets a trophy.
They've got the... Goodness sakes, everyone gets a trophy.
Everyone's got to have a voice, right? Well, what are we going to do? Everyone's got... What about all these ones? What about that family that just filled out 10,000 ballots? What is supposed to happen with all their ballots?
So their vote is worth 10,000.
10,000.
10,000 to 1. Or the ballots that I was just referencing, the one where they were doing it over and over and over again. It's like that looks bad when they're trying to. This Time article is trying to keep Trump the bad guy.
Oh,
I mean, I haven't read this. This is new, but that's the idea I'm getting. They're like, look, this happened, but Trump was bad. And we have to tell you how much we were justified because he was Orange Man bad. So we're the good guys. We are the good guys. Goodness sakes.
So they have to push that out as long as they can. Orange Man bad. Because they're realizing, you know what? We have very little time left to still talk about this guy.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? We propped this guy up and said that Sleepy Joe is going to be able to do whatever. And every single thing that they knocked on Obama for, or everything that they knocked on Trump for, they are sitting over here doing tenfold themselves.
Yep. Yes, they are.
And aside from that,
but we're justified because he's so bad.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. So you have that running, and then you also have running that Time is sitting here saying, well, look at this saved election. Look at this saved. Nothing was saved. Yeah. It was garbage. It was a crap show, the entire thing. It needs to be addressed. It's not going to be addressed because they're sitting here saying everything was fine. They got what they wanted to get. Well, what happens next time when it doesn't work out in your favor?
That is the question. Is there even going to be a next time? If they're admitting to this kind of manipulation, which we haven't even gotten to the bad part yet. We haven't even gotten to the juiciness that everyone's freaking out about. My goodness. All right, I've got to keep going. I got to keep going here. Before the election, Trump plotted to block a legitimate vote count. No, he was trying to make sure there was election integrity. And then even after the election, which is something I've been fighting for, I just wanted transparency. I wanted proof. Look, if you have proof and it's proven that Biden won legitimately, why can't they prove it? And everyone's like, well, they went to court and the courts threw it out. So, where's your, the left, man, their arguments it's always a bunch of hot air. And they don't care. They just, you say anything. They just throw more of this hot air at you. And it's just like, oh God, no, I want like facts. I want logic. I want proof. Like the things that I'm seeing, you haven't disproven this stuff yet. And now they're putting it on Trump. Trump plotted to block a legitimate vote count before the election. Yeah, because it was illegitimate. Like I saw them recounting. Those videos are, it exists. I've seen them with my own eyes. It's not just like he said, she said. Like I've seen the videos.
They exist enough to the point that when you showed me this, you said, hey, look at this. Right before we went on, you said, hey, look at this. And you showed me this video because I was talking about what are we going to be talking about. Yep. And I thought it was a different thing. That's how much it's happened.
Yep.
It's happened enough times that I've seen a van down a hallway filled with coolers or Portillos or whatever you're saying's in there.
Yep.
That's actually ballots.
Yep. And that's, of course, you're talking about, oh, you're, look at this. It's just your stash.
There you go. Let's just get it in. That's all people want. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Give them the goods.
Give the people what they want.
That's good. Oh, my goodness. This is ridiculous, man. This Time Magazine article. I can't believe it.
I can't believe this is real. And people are reading this on the side that it's fighting for and are excited about it. They're excited that yep, that's what happened. Look at that. Time said something. They made a thing on Kennedy a couple weeks ago. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness. This is nuts. Let's see. And he spent the months following November 3rd trying to steal the election he'd lost with lawsuits and conspiracy theories, pressure on state and local officials, and finally summoning his army of supporters to January 6th rally that ended in deadly violence in the Capitol. There it is. They always got to bring that back. Always. 100% of the time, they have to whip that in. And then we're getting closer. I think we're almost there. The democracy campaigners watched with alarm. Every week, we felt like we were in a struggle to try to pull off this election without the country going through a real dangerous moment of unraveling, says former GOP Representative Zach Wamp, a Trump supporter who helped coordinate a bipartisan election protection council. We can look back and say this thing went pretty well. There's that narrative that they're drilling in there, but it was not at all clear in September and October that was going to be the case. This is the inside story of the conspiracy that saved the 2020 election. What a start of a paragraph. So it's not a conspiracy theory. There's no theory written there. This is the inside story of the conspiracy to save the 2020 election. Based on access to the group's inner workings, never-before-seen documents, and interviews with dozens of those involved from across the political spectrum, it is the story of an unprecedented, creative, and determined campaign whose success only reveals how close the nation came to disaster.
Why does that sentence sound like it was just written by someone who writes the promotional material for Netflix shows?
Because it probably was.
That's exactly what that sounded like. This summer, one man. That was awful.
Will fight against everyone else.
Evil orange man.
He will fight off evil orange man who's trying to steal your life.
I'm saying.
Goodness sakes. Oh my goodness. Every attempt to interfere with the proper outcome of the election was defeated, says Ian Besson, co-founder of Protect Democracy, a nonpartisan rule of law advocacy group. But it's massively important for the country to understand that it didn't happen accidentally. The system didn't work magically. Democracy is not self-executing. Oh goodness. Goody. Please tell me all about it. That's why the participants want the secret history of the 2020 election told. Even though it sounds like a paranoid fever dream, a well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of information. They were not rigging the election, they were fortifying it. And they believed the public needs to understand the system's fragility in order to ensure the democracy of American endures. Oh. I can't believe I just read that sentence. Now that is the paragraph that's going wild. So wild, I need to read it again. I'm going to read that again. Because for those who just missed it, if you missed what I just said, oh my goodness, I have to read it again because I don't even believe that's what I just read. That's why the participants want the secret history of the 2020 election told, even though it seems and sounds like a paranoid fever dream. This is it. Ready? This is what I want to emphasize. A well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies, working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, working together behind the scenes. Oh no, steer media coverage and control the flow of information. They were not rigging the election. They were fortifying it. What the... What? Can you imagine if Trump came out there and said, I've got a team that is coming out to, work together behind the scenes to influence everyone's perceptions, change laws, and steer media coverage. Imagine if Trump said that.
We don't have to, because that's what they said Trump was doing the entire time. And now magically, we want the untold history story of what happened. We want to hear about the good guy, not Orange Man.
Yep.
Like, it's what?
They are morally justified because they've convinced their entire group that Trump is evil and Trump supporters are evil. So they are justified in changing the rules, changing the laws, influencing the way that you think, steering the media coverage, controlling the flow of information. Who said it last? Who said it's for the good of the people? Hitler said that. Yeah, go ahead and look it up. Thanks, Tom McDonald. Man, his shit's fire. Yeah, I swore a little bit. That's fine. But this is ridiculous. They are convincing people that they're the good guys. We're the good guys. Look, we had to do this to save democracy. And they believe the public needs to understand that the public... You know what this reminds me of? V for Vendetta. We need to remind them why they need us.
Yeah.
Chancellor coming out and being like, shove it down their throats. Tell them why they need us. Remind the people that they need us to protect them. Whoa, government, you need to calm yourself. And remember, it's we the people in this country. This is right here is smacking Americans in the face. You should be pissed about this. This is them coming out and saying, yeah, we did it. We altered the election. We used every single thing that we could get our hands on and manipulate to get Trump out of office because we needed him out of office. And I'll tell you what, right now, they didn't need Trump out of office because he's bad. They didn't get him out of office because he was doing bad things for America. He was making America strong again. He was ruining this is Time Magazine's words right now. He was ruining the well-funded cabal of powerful people. He was ruining their plans. They said that. Let me just bring this back real quick. A well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies, working together behind the scenes. That is literally what the conspiracy theorists have been saying for years. They're coming out and saying, yep, it's real. We have inside interviews, inside sources. This article is long. I'm sure they get into crazy details. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. I get the gist of it. I'm going to read it later. I'm not going to read it on the air right now.
Can I say that I feel like you're seeing this over and over again? This is how stuff is being presented to the people when there are things that they want them to see or things that they don't want them to hear. And when that's going on, if they don't want people to hear, then they'll maybe give all the facts that they did. Like, look, they just said we did all of this.
Yep.
So everyone should be freaking out. They should be being hauled into court. Like, this should be a thing that's being taken care of.
Yeah.
But instead, everybody's like, but she's crying. She said she was in the building. I'm not trying to bring that up. I know that.
No, I see what you're saying.
But like, I mean, instead we're talking about a crying AOC, or instead we're talking about this guy that did, like, it's ridiculous.
And not only that, they dropped this bomb, and the people on their side are like, good job, you saved us. Man, it was so close to us being, all of our rights being taken by that authoritarian who signed one executive order in his first 3 days. How many did Biden sign in his first 3 days? 17 in his first 3 days. How many is it up to now? Probably like 40. Dude just dropping them like it's hot. Like he's the king of America. What makes it even worse is he's got an earpiece. Salute the Marines. Salute the Marines. It's like, no. You salute the Marines.
Straight up.
You're supposed to salute them because they deserve
Robot
your
boy.
respect, Joe Biden, President Biden. You're supposed to respect the military, not call them stupid. I don't even want to say the words because it's terrible, but he did it. Clap for that, you stupid B word. Like, dude, the disrespect that he gives so many people, the racism that comes out of his mouth. Don't even get me started on it. But I'm talking
can't
about
talk
just
about that.
simply supporting your troops. Salute them. They deserve
Right.
your respect.
Right.
They're sitting there serving you. They are serving you.
Regardless of how you feel about war and anything like
Yes.
that, you are not being shot at. You are not in a job that is being shot at. So,
Whoa.
Hey.
He just said he was just shot at.
oh well.
Did you hear that? I'm popping it up. Go.
it up.
Please finish your.
But
your-
I'm saying it's blanketed throughout everybody, and it's cops, and it's we don't want anybody to have anything. Well, you also are pretty okay with the fact that no one's invading our land. You know what I mean? No one's invading. Why aren't people invading us?
Yep.
Do you know why?
Well, because Americans are there's a
Because we strapped
because we strapped.
straight up.
That's right. Yeah, we are. Look at this. I don't know if you've seen this. I'm gonna pull this up so you can see it. This is Biden. I'm gonna back up. All right.
You have
Listen to
great
this.
personal courage. I've been with some of you when we've been shot at.
I've been
great
with some of
personal
you
courage.
when we've been shot at. Those are his words. So he's talking to people saying, I've been with you when we've been shot at. And it's like,
I would want to hear the whole thing. I'm not knocking you, but
I get it.
The fact that
I
it
get it.
stops there, and that's the first time I'm hearing it.
yeah.
Like,
so
because that does make me
right.
boil up.
So Greg Kelly posted this.
Okay.
He's on Newsmax,
Yeah.
which tends to lean more on the right side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a veteran and is probably really annoyed when people
Salty, yeah. Okay.
stolen valor. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, people don't want to. That's super disrespectful to
Right.
people who have actually served and sacrifices their lives and maybe have seen their friends get killed for our country, for
Right.
us, for me. Like, when I see someone who's serving in the military, dude, you get my respect.
For sure.
Period.
Even if you're being rude to me,
Yeah.
you're going to get my respect.
It's like, thank you for serving. You know, you can be rude, like, but that's fine. But you at least, I still appreciate you.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So back to, Biden. It's like, dude didn't salute the Marines because he said salute the Marines, because someone said salute the Marines. All I can think of is Obama, man. In an interview, I don't know if you know this, in an interview in 2014, Obama was talking to someone. He's like, yeah, it would be way easier for me to just sit in my basement wearing comfortable sweatpants, not have to like be on, out in the middle of it, and just talk to, like, tell someone how to act and what to say and control things from the basement. Obama said this in an interview. Like, this isn't like some conspiracy. Like, he straight up said that. And now we've got, all this rumors of like Biden, like, dude, he can't read a teleprompter. He's terrible at it, and he every time he stumbles, it's just because he missed a line and is trying to like,
Yeah.
correct it. Like,
Right.
I get it. Like, he's old and can't read a teleprompter, which that's who your president is now. But man, when he said salute the Marines, I was like, dang, that is proof that someone just told him to salute the Marines, and he just said salute the Marines. Like, he hears something in his ear and just repeats it.
Right.
Instead of recognizing that it's like, oh, I was supposed to salute the Marines. That's what you do to a Marine or someone who's actually serving you, the commander-in-chief of our armed forces. Ridiculous. This is crazy. Check this out. So this is just Tim's Twitter. All right. Tim talked about it. I don't think it even matters at this point. Time magazine just came out and said a cabal of elites rigged the election. I'm sorry, they said they didn't rig the election. They fortified it by changing the rules and laws as well as manipulating the flow of information. What is the difference? That's literally rigging the election. That's what it means. You rigged the election because you manipulated and changed rules and laws, and that's what we mean by saying you rigged the election. So they fact-checked it. This claim of election fraud is disputed. This tweet can't be replied to, retweeted, or liked due to a risk of violence. But it's the truth. Time magazine came out and just admitted it. They have all these people that are coming forward like, we want the truth to be told. The people should need to know about our heroics,
Well,
about
their
how
truth.
we defeated the Orange Man. I love Tim Pool come back with the fact check. True. It is true. Time magazine. He posts the Time article, which is, by the way, NewsGuard guaranteed. God. They're fact checking their own facts that are coming out because they want people to know about the truth of the matter. But then, wait a minute, conservative Twitter is finding it and going, oh, see, it's proof. And they're like, well, no, it's not proof of what you're saying. It's proof that we defeated Orange Man.
Right.
Using these tactics that it's fortifying the election. We're fortifying democracy. How dare you go against democracy? We fortified it. We didn't rig anything. How dare you? It's rigging when you guys manipulate the media and change the rules and to get your way. When we do it, we're justified. So it's fortification of what we want.
Our cabal was okay. Your cabal, Trump's cabal was not.
Yeah. Trump's cabal.
Yeah.
Who was basically ruining their cabal.
Right.
They're like, there's only one cabal on this planet,
I feel like there should
and it's
be
ours.
There should be at least one person who has a voice that was like, let's stop using the word cabal. Should everybody like
Time magazine did it.
I'm saying.
I know.
I'm saying.
It's like
Come on, guys.
You realize that all the conspiracy theories are like
Right.
what? We've
doing
been
the-
saying this.
Illuminati. I was doing the one world order Illuminati because you were like a very important. Like it just sounds like some sort of like again next summer.
Next summer, you'll hear the story of a cabal that saved a democracy.
Dude,
Sounds like a bad 80s.
I've been
movie.
saying all year long 2020 is a movie. It's a movie, and 2021 does not disappoint. So far, it's like the movie continues.
Yeah.
2020, The Return. 2021,
2020.5.
coming this summer.
I can't believe that. This is insane. And there's a good article from the National Pulse here, which is not news guarded, but it sums it up. Time magazine. Trump was right. There was a conspiracy. Well-funded cabal, powerful people changing laws, steering media, and controlling information. I mean, we just read it together. And now, this right here, if this person would have come out and wrote this article 2 days ago, 3 days ago, the 7th of January, the 5th of January, oh my goodness, right? Anytime before the 20th, they would have been like, inciting violence.
Right.
This is exactly why we need to censor everybody. We need to control the information. Now this is actually true. This is Time magazine saying, yeah, we've got the proof. It's actually, it's they did control the flow of information. This is them convincing people, see, it was good that we controlled the information, right? Because we stopped the violence. Notice how the first couple paragraphs was, well, nothing happened. Nothing. There was crickets. There was no violence. There was no protesting because we declared Biden the winner so quickly. Everyone was happy. See, we stopped the violence, so it was good that we controlled information.
But it wasn't us who was doing the violence.
Right.
It wasn't us who was doing the violence who magically got happy when
they did mention the months of sometimes violent protests.
Right.
Billions of dollars in damages to small businesses and small communities across this country. Sometimes, I think it was 8% of the time it was violent, but 8%, billions of damage. Billions, not millions, billions of damage to small. I mean, they ruined people's lives. People that have nothing to do with the cabal, the elites that are actually controlling everyone and coming out and admitting that they're manipulating you. We admit that we manipulated everybody, but look, we ended the Orange Man bad pandemic. It's straight up a pandemic to these people, the Orange Man, when in reality, he was truly a president of the people. You can't convince me otherwise. Like, I will never regret voting for that man. And now they're coming out saying, yeah, we totally manipulated everyone to make sure I'll use their term, to fortify the election, to make sure that no violence and ended the reign of this authoritarian leader. Look, authoritarian authoritarian dictators, they don't get voted out. They don't have all this, every single thing be manipulated to get them out of power. That doesn't happen. It's the other way around. It's the dictators, the people that are authoritarians that use these tactics to get and stay in power. So moving forward, them being this blatant about admitting that they did this, that they manipulated the public, used media and the internet to change everyone's like mental state to accept this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're defending democracy? They are deleting it.
Right.
Democracy is gone. If they can admit this and no one's going to get in trouble and what can happen? What's going to happen now? Like, what can we do? They're straight up in our face going, psh, yeah, we did that. What are you going to do about it?
Bullying the playground.
Yeah, they are. They're
Just strutting around the playground.
Yeah, they don't want us. I mean, my goodness. So yeah, that's the Time magazine thing. That's ridiculous. Yeah, Space Chimp just says we are a republic for this exact reason. I know. That's the thing. They want a democracy. They want it to be a democracy. When we're not, we're a constitutional republic. All right, which means even the little guys get a say. Which is funny. They want a democracy where the minorities actually won't get a say anymore. A democracy wouldn't work in this country. All the states, all the small states would never have a say anymore. And then guess what? They were going to leave. They're going to get pissed off and bounce. They're going to be like, why? I'm not getting any representation. You know why America was founded in the first place? No representation, no taxation without representation. Remember that? Does that ring a bell? If it doesn't, then that's an issue. But if it does, good for you. You know, when people don't have their voice heard anymore, they get fed up and do something about it. This is them basically saying, yeah, we saw what your voice was going to do. We saw what you wanted, and it's an issue to democracy. So we fortified it.